So imagine trying to water your entire garden with 10 leaky hoses instead of one perfect sprinkler. Well, that's exactly what happens when you buy an LED mask based only on more bulbs. More does not equal better skin. In fact, chasing higher bulb counts, it's one of the fastest ways to waste your money and get weaker results, but everyone seems to want to do it. So today I'm breaking it down simply and directly to 3 things that actually matter when choosing a red light mask. Stick around to the end. I'm taking you inside my factory to show you what most companies will never let you see. The rejected masks, the failed tests, and the tiny details that make massive, massive differences to your skin's outcome. Now, let's start with the number 1 thing I look at, and it's not bulb count. It's actually bulb coating. You see, diffusion is key. Almost nobody tells you bulbs can be coated with an expensive product at the time of production. You see, we don't just make masks, we make the bulbs that go into the mask too. I don't use third parties. Quality control. I don't trust third-party reports alone. I go to the factory myself. I check out the heat output on every product. I inspect the diffusion coating on each LED. What do I mean by this coating? Let's go into the factory. So look here, you see that bottle? That's an expensive coating that I use on my individual LEDs. And each wavelength actually of bulb is going to get a different coating for diffusion because wavelength matters. Now, while we're on this topic and we're into the factory here, let me show you something else nobody tells you. I look at the bulbs that get rejected. These are the throwaway bulbs here in this jar, in the factory, because obviously, even though you're in a precision medical grade manufacturing facility, errors happen. We want precise wavelengths, but you see the ones in this tub here? Those are throwaways, and they actually go into the garbage. In many cases, in different factories, those bulbs, the ones that I throw away, companies are buying those in other factories for their cheap masks, so they don't have to charge a lot of money. Those bulbs that I threw away, you can get those for nothing. Thus, the inexpensive mask, the cheap mask. That's exactly one way that happens. Now you know how the cheap mask can cost so much less. Throw away products on your face. Okay, you can see on the right over here, there's your bad chips. The good chips on my left right here. And you can see the rough ratio. Let me move that down. And you can see the rough ratio of good chips to bad chips. That's a lot of bad chips. Those are ones you don't want shining on your face. But that is a normal tolerance of a factory of bad to good chips. We're going for these good ones. I'm excited here, so let me show you one more thing. One of the hidden details that costs more. The gold wiring inside the LEDs. Look here, that's pure gold in this ring here. Yeah, I did say gold. That's what I use. Less expensive masks, they might use aluminum or copper, and those materials can expand with use, with heat, with regular production, but gold does not. Gold stays the same length. That means the wavelength stays stable. Treatment after treatment, year after year. When you take that mask on the plane, you carry it around, you throw it in your bag, you want gold. That's one of the main differences between a mask that works for 3 or 6 months and one that works for years at the right wavelengths. Remember, you get one face. Secondly, wavelength accuracy. That's what I look for. Your skin cells only respond to very specific wavelengths. Red light around 630 nanometers for collagen and surface repair, and near infrared about 810 to 850 works well for deeper renewal. Now, many masks claim the right numbers, no problem. You put that on paper, you put that on the website, you put it over on Amazon, no problem. But the bulbs used in the masks, they drift or never even hit the numbers consistently. They're off. If the wavelength is off by 20 to 30 nanometers, just a small amount, you're basically wearing a fancy colored light. I test every batch. Good ones stay dead on. The ones that don't, they never leave the factory. Let me show you in the factory. Okay, we're looking for a bad chip. Let's see, how long does it take? There it is. Red one, discarded. Red one, discarded. Red one, discarded. All those discarded chips, they're going somewhere. Not in your mask, but to the secondary market, okay? So that's how we know the bad chips that leave. And they don't get in your Rajani MD mask. Now, the third thing I look for, coverage and evenness. More bulbs mean nothing if the light misses your jawline. Your under eyes, I pay particular attention to that because that is a big driver to my clinic. Under eyes, the forehead, the smile lines, the submentum. That's why the mask is built in that way. I check how evenly the irradiance hits the entire face. No hot spots, no dark zones, and it's also why I don't use lasers on the face, meaning laser masks. Of course, I use lasers every day in clinic. CO2, erbium mags, that's for resurfacing the face, not for LED masks, where we want diffused light, not laser light. Here is a way to map each bulb to make sure you have a good output of each bulb. If a bulb doesn't meet specifications, then that mask is taken care of appropriately. But this is another way to detect that each bulb is working perfectly. Again, it's computer analyzed through a special optical camera. What we're trying to do here in your skin is called photobiomodulation. We don't do that with lasers, we do it with diffused light. Photo means light, bio means life, modulation means we're trying to affect change in the cell, particularly the mitochondria. Lasers create skin damage, and that gets your wound healing process of your body revved up to get wound healing factors. That's a totally different treatment, not photobiomodulation. So here's the simple truth. Proper spacing, proper lenses, proper curvature all matter way more than raw bulb count. Bulb count by itself tells you almost nothing. But many influencers, of course, are going to have you believe that. They probably don't see patients and faces in real life. What actually matters, rock solid quality control, precise, stable wavelengths, even and complete coverage. That's how I judge every red light mask, including the ones I make. Now, come with me in the factory floor. I want to show you one more thing, how we bake the masks before they leave. Okay, you're going to say, hey, what if there's water in your chip, right? Not a good thing. What does water do? It oxidizes things. The last thing you want in your chip. It's also going to play with your wavelengths. So a lot of people would stop at that step, but guess what? You got to bake things. Now, if you're getting facial filler, what temperature does that melt at? It's about 120 degrees Celsius. Filler doesn't melt at low temperatures. That's your reference point. For a LED chip, how do we get the water out? 90 degrees Celsius for 1 hour, 150 degrees Celsius for 3 hours. That evaporates any water, and that means quality. You get one face, you want what's shining on it to be photobiomodulation. Exact wavelengths to trigger cytochrome C oxidase in your mitochondria to give you that fibroblast and elastin to build your collagen, tighten your skin, and make you look vibrant and glowing. Just like we bake face fillers, we bake masks. So if you want a mask that's built like medical grade equipment instead of a gadget, and why I added PEMF, pulsed electromagnetic field, to mine, click here to watch that video and one down here on how you can add a simple gua sha follow along routine, keep your skin and body beautiful, healthy, and vibrant.